Hi, I'm Susan Barker and I'm the author of Old Soul, which is a literary horror about a monstrous woman of many aliases who moves across continents and centuries, and it's about the terrifying things that happen to people that cross her path. It's narrated from her perspective, the perspective of her victims, and also Jake, who's a man tracking her down. And it's really a book about the moral choices we make and our inevitable mortality, and one terrible woman who refuses to die. So I'm at Waterstones Deansgate in Manchester, and I'm going to talk about 3 books that influenced Old Soul. The first of the books is Under the Skin by Michelle Faber, which is sci-fi / speculative fiction. It's about a woman called Isserley who drives about the Scottish Highlands picking up male hitchhikers, and once they're in her car, she'll make small talk with them, and occasionally she'll tranquilise them and take them back to a remote farm where very bad things happen to them. It's a really tense and suspenseful book. You never know how it's going to go when a hitchhiker gets into her car, and your sympathies shift back and forth between Isserley and the hitchhiker, as occasionally the man is more dangerous than Isserley herself. I definitely think Under the Skin was resonating in my creative unconscious when I was writing Old Soul. Both books have predatory women at the centre who are both in servitude to a higher power, and the more you read Under the Skin, the more you realise that Isserley is just as victimised as the men she picks up and takes to the farm. My next book is Ghostwritten by David Mitchell, which is Mitchell's first novel, and it's really 9 interconnected short stories about wildly different characters in different parts of the world. I first read Ghostwritten when I was teaching English in Japan in 2001 and trying to write fiction myself, and I thought it was really incredible. It really showed me the possibilities of what you can do with fiction, that you don't have to be confined to one genre. You can mix speculative fiction with historical fiction, with a coming-of-age love story, that you can move between radically different voices and prose styles. I think the globe-crossing, consciousness-hopping nature of this book really influenced Old Soul, and in fact every book I've ever written. And yeah, it's just a really fun read. Mitchell has a really fun and maximalist prose style, and I always feel that with his books he primarily wants to entertain the reader, and as a reader I always feel really invited in. So my last book is Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood, which I read for the first time when I was 16. Cat's Eye is about a Canadian painter called Elaine Risley, and it moves back and forth across 5 decades of her life. The first half of the book is about her childhood in Ontario and her experience at primary school being bullied by these 3 girls that she thinks of as her best friends, and her inability to escape the situation. It's really a book about power and the relationship between the oppressor and the oppressed, and even though the power games are happening in the playground between 9-year-old girls, Atwood takes them deadly seriously, and she shows the emotionally devastating impact they have on Elaine, both as a child but also as an adult when she's a painter, and kind of channeling all of the experience into the paintings she's making, and kind of uncovering all of the repressed trauma of that time. In my own fiction, I'm also really interested in power dynamics, and Cat's Eye is definitely an early influence there.